Howdy YouTube, this is Serptonius, and this is going to be a bonus episode. Doesn't quite fit in with any of the other Let's Plays. You get a little hint of that if you notice up in the top right corner. All of the bases that are up in the radar. This looks somewhat familiar with the episodes that we've got going on. This is that base. However, what I did is I removed all of the extra bits and bobs, so it is basically as cheap as you can get it. I did went ahead and leave all four of those in there. I might or might not by the time I end up publishing it. But if we click over to P and go to statistics, it has an unlock level of 5, which means you only need to be 5th level to build this, and all of the resources are relatively inexpensive for a base this size. So whenever you're going through the process and building, if you just get that much resources, put it in the factory, and then you can spawn this in 33 minutes. It'll create it. So the other thing that I've added that I totally forgot about, which is these sentry guns. Other than that, this is just like it appears in the Let's Play. Got a bunch of other stuff that you can see, and I'll walk you through everything in this episode. So, or this bonus. So this is the one that we've got in the Let's Play that we're working on right now. I call that one the Hideout. This is the Outpost. And this is that same overarching design. What I've added on this design is this big garage for the hover vessels to sit. And up here we've got a hangar for the SV. So again, it's just, I haven't finished painting this one yet, but it's just a straight expansion of this design. This is the one I actually pulled this out from the Let's Play. There was a model that I had here previously, and I deleted it and then replaced it with the one from the Let's Play. This is my creative world that I go through. There's a lot of different stuff you can play with on this one, such as I can change the day-night cycle, put it basically overhead, and I can actually stop and start time, which is, and speed time up, slow time down. Pretty neat. So over here are the previous incarnations of the hideout that I have used in the Let's Play. This is a version 7. Again, it's still based off the basic setup of the 3 block by 3 block. I go underground, you can see still just a 3 by 3 and then raised up. Kind of like the angle blocks. I was playing around with these curved blocks, and I kind of like them better. These corner pieces are very fiddly, and right here it has 338 hit points, whereas if you compare that to this guy, the corner has got 516. That is a pretty significant difference. Also, if no, that's concrete. That is concrete. So that's 338 versus the 516. The 516 would definitely be better. So that's the thought process on that, why I switched from the curved or the angled over to the curved. And this is another incarnation that I was playing with. The nice thing about this one is that we've got those cargo containers that go all the way out to the edge. Here's still the 4 grow plot areas underneath the the grow light exactly like what it is in the current one, but it's got this huge area here in which we've got all this storage down here, but again, still same basic 3x3 pattern, and then just expand it out. Here's a good 3x3, and it's got the door at the end. A little bit different design, still the cannons with the ones on the edge, just like over here we've got the 4 and then the cannons on the edge. So kind of the same layout, and again on this one, this is the hideout, this is the outpost, same thought process, just they added garage. And then here, again, going through the iteration of what it would look like with this extra storage area. All these light green ones are the 3x3 layout. And I've got a 3x3 capital vessel over here that I've got. Works quite nicely. Use this one in a little offline play. It's relatively inexpensive, and then it does have room here for the pink is the storage for the pentaxid, and then the yellow is the warp engine. It definitely crowded. And then this area here would be the it's got 8 blocks for the grow area, not 9, but that's pretty much as cramped as you can get. Does have the large constructor in which you can expand to the advanced constructor, and then you fly it from this position, and it works. But that's about as small as you can make it with this style format. And then this guy over here is the that same thought process with a garage. And I don't believe, yeah, this one does not have a hangar for the SV. Or that is different. This is just a big area. The SV or HV comes in here. Has been updated for the cargo containers. Does not have a lot of storage. I haven't played with any of these in Alpha 10 except for that hideout right there and the red ones off in the distance. So as I say, the light green ones are, and I thought I had one of these containing, here we go. And then here was the original SV based on the 3x3, and this was the original 3x3 design for the hovercraft. As I was mentioning in the Let's Play, I do prefer to have a little bit of way that you can see out. There isn't any on the existing one, so I may change that around. I'm not sure. But I do like having the ability to look out and not being forced to use the external view. This one I don't think has been upgraded to Alpha 10. It only has the probably Alpha 4 even. I don't think it has the, this one doesn't have the detector or any of the real fancy stuff. So it's probably an Alpha 4 build. Or maybe even 9, not sure. But anyway, outdated, and that's why I worked to get that HV updated. Gonna want to do the same with the SV. So I guess next, let's come over here, and this is the other stuff that I was working on. So this guy is built on a base of 5. I do have, you'll recognize some design elements from this guy match up with the brand new one over there that I was working on in the series. This is indeed the worker. It's based on a 5x5 design. Playing around with this, got the big 3x3 engines, or excuse me, the 3x1s. Didn't get that guy painted, but you can see it's got the line of the 3x1x1 engines, and that gives it nice thrust. I was able to get a lot of movement around on this guy, and he has a place up front and in the rear on the nacelles for weapons, and again another one up front, and then he's got the 4 across the top. So the maximum you can have for the miniguns is 6, so that's 6, and then it's got the 3 spots for something else. Again, has the sensor, don't know where it's at, probably up here. There it is. And the double glass, it's got the steel blocks around, so pretty nice design. Oh, I noticed that this guy's got placement for the pentaxid, which means this little area here would be set up for the shields. And then this is this kind of the same thought process as all the other ones, where we've got the just straight 5x5, and then we've got the extra with the garage. I was playing around with this one to add in some extra storage capabilities. So this guy I have flight tested with something like 600 tons and moves across just fine. And it's got lots of viewing out the sides. So that's a nice design. Notice it's got engines all over the whole thing. Probably still going to play around with that a little bit more, but that's what we're working on. And over here, I guess let's start with this one. This one I call the Hamlet. And this is the 5x5 coming in from here. You've got all the storage in the corners. One of these is the generator. The other 3 corners are the batteries. Got a bunch of containers. I still hadn't quite figured out. This one is before Alpha 10, and I hadn't figured out all the different stuff. This one should not. Oh, it's got some container stuff, but not too much. Just playing around. Have not used this one in an actual survival scenario, so not real sure how it would play out, but that's the thought. And then up top it's got all of the meds, the bunk with the bathroom and the shower and the armors, and plenty of solar. So I think this guy would work out fine. Need to actually use this one in survival. I'm going to change it over to the round design is what I have with the current ones before I do that. And again, this is that same design, although this one also has room set aside right here. That's the 3x3x3 shield module, and right here in the middle would be the room for the pentaxid tank. Oh, and that would be the deconstructor. And I have both of these set up as a deconstructor in and out. Don't have the deconstructor in the blueprint, so I'm trying to keep the cost down. So this one, really, the only thing that you got to worry about are the 8 cobalt ingots, but everything else is easily accessible in a beginning on the beginning build, and then an unlock level of 10, which is pretty light. And the 8 cobalts are for the doors, these big doors. I think they take 2 each. I don't remember what was back in there. But these big hangar doors do take 2 cobalt per door. And this is another one that I've just started playing around with on the rounded edges. Not sure. I think I'm going to change it up a little bit to add the little stick out nacelles, and maybe one in front like what we've got in that brand new hovercraft that I used in the Let's Play. But we'll see. One of the nice things that I've added with this one that I thought was pretty slick, I don't remember where I saw it, but if you look at this one, you can actually pilot it from this this cockpit that sticks up here. Only drawback is what you just saw is whenever you exit, you do exit directly above. You do not go back to where you entered it from, like down here. And right now it only has the 3 Gatling guns, which is pretty good for most POIs. Any of the more advanced ones, that's going to be a little bit much. I think I did play around with this in survival just a little bit, and it worked out quite nicely. But I didn't think of the nacelle area, and this one sometimes can be really hard to jump back into. So I'm probably going to add at least the little part in the back that hangs down, if not on the ones on the side, to give it extra abilities for or room for engines. But that one I thought was really nice, and it's got cannons all the way around. Now that's one thing that I didn't realize when I was building these, is it always helps to go through with a playthrough. The drones that attack always seem to drop the 15 millimeter, so it makes more sense in the long run to use the 15 millimeter weapons as opposed to the cannons. Because even though I think the cannons do better, you get the 15 millimeter just handed to you continuously. So that seems to me to make a lot more sense to use those in your defense, since you're going to be getting those given to you. Just like on here, I've got the sentry guns. They work out great because the Xerax continually give that to you. So over here as well, we've got the settler and the wagon. They're the capital vessels. So let's come in from the bottom where you would be entering it. I think this guy's powered down. That's why the door's not opening. But we've got room here for the gravity generator. Behind here is the small generators, which are enough for everything to work without getting too hot. We've got the oxygen and the first aid. And let's see. So again, we've got the pentaxid, and then behind that is the room for the warp drive. And then here we've got room for 2 of the 3x3 grow areas, and then the constructors. So this works out nicely. The 2 food processors, and then 2 sets of fridges behind it. And going up, we've got the living area, very similar to the other one, with the addition of the capital vessel there, the pilot seat. And then this is the same with the garage attachment. This is the again, the Alpha 4 or whatever build of the blue 5x5 style hovercraft. So we've got the detector and the wireless, but I think that's about the only stuff. Oh, so I updated this one with the container controllers, so it's a little bit more advanced, but I do not believe that I tested this all the way, and that's why we've ended up with the next iteration that looks completely different and then has the rounded edges on it. And then this is one of the other versions of that. I think that's the Warrior. Again, just building on that 5x5 style. It does have the warp. It does not have that pilot or the cockpit up here that other version has. That is the newest of that version. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, see, this is the newer one. It's rounded off, and it does have that cockpit up front, which I saw in someone else's build, and I thought that was just genius. So I added it. So that's it on the blue, which is the 5x5. We've gone through the green. I'm going to take a slight detour over here and go through the orange build. That's kind of what I call my complete utilitarian. I think you saw this is the scooter that I built in the Let's Play Season 3. And this is kind of the same thing, but bulked all the way up. It's got the detector, it's got the wireless, we've got the O2, the armor, it's got some fridge, the fridge right there up front. So everything you need to get around, and it's really nice. It's it does not have any, let's see, I don't think there's any power in here. No, it does. So, power up. And thrusters. And see, it's pretty quick to get around. It doesn't have any armor, doesn't have any weapons. So, if you just want something to scoot around the world and carry a little bit of stuff, this is the way to go. 17 meters in every direction, but that is with it completely empty. As you add, if you are playing with the weights and volume, as you add more and more cargo, that's going to go and steadily get worse and worse. But for a nice little runabout, it's pretty good. And looking at the cost, is still really inexpensive and an unlock level of 5. So still a nice little beginner runaround. And this guy's what I call the foundry. The thought process behind this is everything you need to start out whenever you land, you can plump one of these down and have everything you need. Back over here is a deconstructor. We've got the health and the oxygen. We've got a big furnace in the middle. Have the constructor, fridge. It even has an ATM machine. All of the different medical devices you can want. Oxygen, power, solar. The only thing it does not have is it doesn't have any way to defend itself. So it's both good and bad, but the whole thought process on this one is just simple, quick, not too expensive. You're not going to be plopping this down until you're a little bit farther along in the game. It's got an unlock level of 12, but by comparison to those bases over there, the resources are dramatically lower. I think that even that green one that I did in the Let's Play has got like 1,700 or 1,900 stone dust. This one's only 280. The most thing it needs is 340 iron, which is nothing. Yeah, the problem though is you are going to need 160 cobalt, 175 sathium, and 90 sathium and 175 neodymium. By the time you're getting around and going to the next planets, all that is going to be paltry. You're going to have that in buckets by then. So, very inexpensive place or item to have. Plop it down. It's got all of the solar all the way around it, so that'll last you a good long time. So that's the thought process on this one. Is after you've gone around a couple times and you understand or you've got the resources, plop down one of these foundries, and then you can deconstruct and construct to your heart's content. Solar will take care of the majority of your needs. Now, the other ones here, and these are about as big as I think this design works. I tried building a 9 by 9 by 9 configuration, and the structural integrity just kept failing. So I think this is about as big as you're going to get. Let's go into this guy. So it's got a big 7 by 7 base, so plenty of room, tons of room in which to grow and do stuff with. I did use this one in both a version 6 and version 10 Let's Play. Or I don't know about Let's Play, but I did do a playthrough. Each floor has its own sensors that'll turn on and off the lights for each floor. This design has the grow plots in the middle. Again, there's plenty of room, so there's no reason not to. In this one, I got a little bit carried away and put a kitchen and a TV and a bed. This needs to be painted. It's gonna be, I think, this one. Nope. There we go. And there we go. That got painted and it's ready to go. And again, the sensor is right there, and that's going to turn on and off the lights for this level. And up here, got a nice railing and plenty of solar panels. Again, you notice as I go up and down each floor, they will turn on and off. Each direction has its own food processor with its own set of fridges. And same here, there's a constructor in every direction with plenty. It's got a repair station. Just got all of the amenities. And so that is the town. Updated it on my last playthrough to this guy. Jetpack. And this is where I converted over to the this big cargo area. It still has the grow in the different sections. So this was the first design that I had converted over to moving the grow to the outside. A lot more of the tier 2s. And this also converted the little areas to windows. I thought that was nicer rather than the grills. And then have the has the deconstructor, and then 3 of the other constructors. And then up here has a furnace and the shield generator. And then lots and lots of storage. All of these are max capacity. That's why they don't actually go all the way out. Is I already hit the 3200 maximum, so then converted those to windows. And all the way up here, we've got, again, the storage area for the armor lockers. Went ahead and add an extra one because it is the 7x7. And then the beds and ATM. So this is the latest version of this style, and I convert, and also instead of the angled solar panels that one has, put it on the end here, and I think that works just fine. Looks real nice. So on this one, we've got the city. This is the town, which is just the block. This is the city that adds in the hangar area. This is for the HVs, and up here is for the SVs. Now I'm going to skip to this version because I think I was able to make this look a lot nicer. I've spent a little bit more time. This one I did in my last single player. We actually have the repair console, and the repair block is right here. But I think this looks much nicer than that version. I actually built this this version and this version in my last playthrough. I think it turned out very nice. See, again, we've got the lights that turn on and off as you go around. Furnace, shield, plenty of storage on this level. This has the SV that is based on the 7x7. You notice that on this one you actually come up in here, turn off God mode, and then you walk up to a second level. This is, again, a very large SV. This one is not made with a container system, so it's definitely going to have to be updated. But it does have the warp, plenty of generators. This guy moves tremendously well because behind here are these monster 2x5x2 engines, and it has 4 of those in every direction. So it moves very good. But again, that was before the container system, so not sure how that's going to play out. And what modifications I do or do not need to make. And this one, I thought it would be unique or neat. Instead of it coming out with one and then a flat, it actually comes out with an extra one. So it already has the extra width. I kind of needed that for these monster 2x5x2 engines. Don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. And this is the previous version of the HV. Again, built on that 7x7. And as you have probably figured out by now, I would like to be able to look out of my HVs if I can. Not sure exactly how that's going to work out whenever we convert this guy to a container system, but I do have my fingers crossed that that will come out looking nice. This part of the build I think is pretty much the same. Got the one deconstructor and then the 3 on the other. The furnaces and up top is the same. Trying to keep it to where we've got that it is consistent on this guy, the city, and the town. As an example, the layout is basically the same on the part that is not the garage, and then the garage is the unique. Played around with the lighting as well, as you can see. Here, let's turn that to dark. And you can see the lights, trying different things, seeing how this works or that works. Think I really like the way that this latest build has turned out. This one, again, because it's just single player, I think having it bright and lit up from far apart or from far away works. If I was doing multiplayer, I probably would not have any of those lights on, or the emissive textures. Probably would have the whole thing just painted probably that color with no textures, or that color with no emissive textures at all. But because I am doing it in single player, brighter is better. Kind of fun. So let's get this back. Today. So, let's see, what else can I show you? I think that's pretty much it. So you kind of get an idea on the different stuff. I've definitely gone through a bunch of different iterations of these. So we've got the blue, which is the 5x5, the green, the 3x3, and then most recent, or some of the other stuff is the 7x7. So the thought as well is this stuff is going to be the cheapest with the least resources, and then the blue is going to have a little bit more advanced stuff to it. And then the red is just going to be balls on every bits and bobs and thing that I can add to it. That's why you see, like on this guy, the shield and the furnace and the deconstructor is already part of the build that will be in the workshop, including the repair stuff. Whereas on the green, I've actually gone in and pulled out everything. So it's got, you'll notice that I pulled out all of the extra health, pulled out the large constructor, which was here, converted all of these back to just the cargo container, so it'd be as inexpensive as possible. And the clone chamber, I downgraded it to, or it was a medical chamber. Now it's just a clone chamber, so it's as cheap as I can get it. Might want, I could probably do a little bit more by getting rid of this fridge, converting that back to just using the one. Convert this this solar, or just get rid of this solar capacitor altogether, so it just has the one. But it's still pretty cheap now. And then convert those and get rid of all of those except for one of those, because technically you only need the one, and then save the other ones. I may do that. I may not. Don't want it, want to make it as cheap as possible, but maybe not too cheap. And then this guy, you'll notice it still has all of the battle scars from the Let's Play. I've just brought it over, haven't gone through and converted it yet. Also plan to take, where is that guy? I think he's in this one. Well, yeah, this guy. Take him out and convert him over to the round design, just like I converted this guy over to that round design. So that's the plan. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys a little peek behind the scenes. Thought you might be interested in all of the different designs that I've been working on. The thought process when I say the 3x3 versus the 5x5 versus the 7x7, exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's pretty much it, YouTube. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, feel free to leave them below. I'll take a look at them and see what I can do. I am trying to get this guy cleaned up and this one cleaned up to put up on the workshop, because I think they're pretty successful designs. I'll probably build the small 3x3 version of the SV and get that one put up on the workshop. And the other ones I'm really liking are these guys. Need to play around with them a little bit more. May end up doing that during the Let's Play on exactly how they're going to work together, how they're going to fit. I think in my single player I have a newer version of this one, if I remember right. But I didn't save him to my factory. Yeah, because I don't think that is still like that. So yeah, I've updated this guy a bit. And yeah, you can see the amount of thrust that is required to move 600 tons around at a reasonable rate is significant. One of the things that I kind of did on this one, which I do not remember where I came up with it, but it was not me. Notice the engines. We then come out. The ones in the center are not on at all. And on the side, only the ones across the top, all these extra ones are off. It's not until I turn on the heavy lift. And if you notice, for an example, 14 seconds or 14 minutes worth of lift. But then as we get around, that drops to 2 with all of it turned on. So big difference. Sitting still 14 minutes, pushed with all of them on 2.8. So very fuel hungry. Definitely don't want to have all of them on this design unless you need. It's not quite as zippy, but a definite difference there. And with this one, I do strongly recommend as well to turn off the brake as you're going along. Go ahead and turn that off. So once you get up to speed with all of that weight, turn off the auto brake and coast as much as you can across a lake to get back to where you're going with carrying all that capacity. That's a huge difference. But again, probably going to convert this guy over to this kind of style with these little pontoons or nacelles. I like the way that looked. And if you notice on here, I didn't have it quite designed the same way that it is on this one. I do like the way this turned out. So I may do the same with that other one over there. Also probably have room right here. To put in across this part here some more engines to give a little bit extra thrust in each direction. That'd be 2 extra engines, so that might not be a bad idea. Well, front and back to side to side, it would just be the one more engine because there's no engines back here. Also kind of toyed with the idea of using these. Yeah, you can definitely tell this was from the Let's Play. Not only is the stuff missing, but I keep on forgetting to paint that one square. But as I was saying, one of the things also I'm toying around with the idea is using the retractable blocks for the guns so they're not sticking out all the time. These do retract, but these guys stay up top. Kind of toying with that. I like it, but I don't know. On these, it probably makes sense. I could do that, but then again, we saw exactly what the flaw is on having those out or having them turned off and then have a base attack. Lost quite a bit of stuff. So not really liking that idea. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, YouTube, just wanted, as I say, to give you a thought process on what I'm thinking on the different stuff, where I've kind of been, came from, getting to these guys. Have any comments on the thought? So on this guy, we come in the stone dust is 1600 and silicon is 2600. So this over here, which I kind of like the idea of having that big area down at the bottom. So 1400 stone dust. So it really, I haven't compared the two until now, but so that's maybe not a bad idea. Having this area completely enclosed. And I guess, instead of having all of this come back in here and all these walls, all of that would, this wall here would move to here, and this one would move to here. Huh. Okay. Well, maybe I will build a hideout version 13 just to see what the stone cost would be. Because I kind of like the idea of having that area completely enclosed like it is on this one. instead of just partially done up like this one. Anyway, we may see that yet. Play around with it, see what the resource cost is, and figure out which way to go. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Hope this it's been kind of amusing, interesting to see the different thoughts, the different ways I've played around with the different stuff. Kind of get an idea. Now I'm thinking about it. Let's see if I can go all the way back in time. See if they're even of. Here we go. Haha. So, didn't think about this guy until just now, but we want to go all the way back. This is the star, which was the original kind of design way back when of the whole thing. We've got well, I haven't looked at these in a long time. This is kind of neat. So this is the original design of that all of these came from, was this guy right here. And to go along with that, that was the star. And see if I can find, and here is the base that goes along with it. And as you can see, it's got the illegal guns that you can't have today. But you came in here, and well, with your jetpack, you could jump around. And then you've got all of your different stuffs: O2 station, cargo box, fridge, constructor. Over the, oops, I forgot. And then over here was the way up to the top. And then it had the guns in each direction. So this is the like very beginning of all of this thought process. Look at the, wow, might want to even play around with this, see if I can figure out what the actual resource cost would be on this. Obviously the obsolete, but that's kind of fun. So this is the very, very beginning. Probably wouldn't want to mess with too much. Just thinking out loud, this awfully fun. Going back to this guy, the walls, because it's made of the thin walls. That's basically the secret as to why this works. Is it's completely made of the thin walls. You can see that right here. And that is how they see. There we go. And that's basically how that guy works. Is the walls are just so cheap, or so thin, and I only have 300 and something hit points, whereas with the concrete, a full block is 600. So, and it's the obsolete cannon turrets. So this guy's got a little bit better, but yeah, that's fun. That's so it was that star, that outpost, and there's. I'll do the V1 truck, why not? And this was the. Oh, SV. Okay. So this was the SV that you flew around in. He's not even taken off, so must be something wrong with him. Wouldn't surprise me. They've changed so much since this guy was active. This was actually what I used in the Alpha 3. So that's fun. That was the ship I flew around in Alpha 3. But here's where that whole design of the star came from a really, really long time ago. That's the SV, that's the base, and that is the truck. So, little bit of nostalgia for me. That's real fun. That was a long, long time ago. But that got things going. It's really a surprisingly inexpensive build. So I could probably play around with the devices in here and get this all the way down to an unlock level of like 3 or 5. The resource cost is basically non-existent to get this going with a 6-minute build time. So that's fun. That's awfully fun. Anyway, I've wrapped this up like 4 times, so I'm going to do it one more time, guys. Have fun. Little trip down nostalgia lane. All the different items I got going on in the creative world. Some of the old build stuff from way back when. And some of the new stuff that doing today. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and just keep on having fun, will you? And take it easy, YouTube.